When the world was young, there were no seals, walruses, or whales swimming in the oceans. Bears, wolves, and deer were hunted by the Inuit people. There lived on the edge of that landmass, in a small igloo, a man, a hunter, and his daughter Sedna, and their dog. And Sedna was beautiful, and all of the people around admired her, and the men of the community would come and ask her father if they could go with her. But her father turned them away, and Sedna did too, for she was proud. But one day, on a kayak across the ocean, came paddling a fine young man. He was good looking, he wore fine furs upon his body. He had a spear made of ivory. He called to Sedna, "Come with me, be my wife." But Sedna refused him. Again he begged, "You will be my wife, and I will give you all you require. We live in a tent with skins that are warm, a fire burning inside. Every day you will eat meat." And she was tempted, so she called her father. And when the stranger presented him with a package, "Here is fish for you," her father agreed. And Sedna climbed into the kayak. And the man, the stranger, paddled fast across the ocean. And when he was far from her land, he tossed the paddle into the ocean. And he raised his arms above his head. And the arms became feathered wings. And she climbed on the back of this great spirit bird, and he flew her far across the ocean, and came to a desolate rock, a craggy rock, and put her down there, a small island with nothing growing, icy cold winds blowing, chilling her to the bone. The only other creatures on that land were birds. And the spirit bird went and returned with fish. Fish. Nothing but fish. Back in the land where she had come from, her father unwrapped the package. But the fish that the stranger had given was rotten. And now he worried for his daughter's welfare. And her father climbed into the kayak that he owned and paddled. Paddled as fast as he could, for he sensed that Sedna was in danger. And far across the ocean he paddled until he came to that desolate, rocky island. Sedna was there. "Oh, father, take me back to my home." And she climbed down from the rocks and into the kayak. The spirit bird was not there. And strong and fast her father paddled back across the ocean towards their home. But now the spirit bird returned. And when he landed on that desolate, craggy cliff on the island, the other birds told him what had happened. And once more he transformed himself into the guise of the fine young hunter, and he climbed into his kayak and began to paddle strong and fast after Sedna's father. Faster and faster he paddled, sailing like the wind across the ocean, gaining all the time. And he called out, and Sedna's father did not look back. On he paddled fast and strong, and Sedna hid under the skins at the bottom of the kayak. And faster he paddled, but still the stranger was stronger. And now the stranger lifted his arms, and they became feathered, and a spirit bird, he flew above the kayak. He called, but Sedna did not respond. And now he plummeted and dived beneath the waves. And as he dived beneath the waves, the water turned dark, and it began to seethe, and great swells tossed the kayak. and great waves broke across its side, a veritable storm. The waves, huge, crashed over the side. Sedna could no longer hold on. She fell from the boat and sank deep into the water. Her father, afraid that the spirits of the sea were angry, paddled on, but Sedna swam to the surface and clung on to the side. "Father, save me!" But afraid for his own life, Sedna's father took his hunting knife and slashed at her hands. And as she fell into the water, the blood congealed that flowed from the wounds and formed seals, the first seals of the ocean. And now Sedna struggled back to the surface of the sea and clung onto the sides. "Father, Father, save me!" And once more he took his hunting knife, his heart full of fear, and struck at his daughter's hands. And again the blood flowed and congealed in the sea, and from the blood swam the first walruses. A third time she rose to the surface, this time weakened, and clung on with the few fingers that were left. "Father, Father, save me!" And again he slashed at her hands, and all her fingers were gone. And now she sank beneath the waters, and from the blood that congealed swam whales. And Sedna did not return to the surface. And fast her father paddled on and on in his kayak, finally reaching his shore. And there he greeted their dog, and he went inside his igloo, and he was trembling with fear and horror at what he had done. Sedna called upon the seals and the walruses and the whales that were born of her blood to go to the shore, and there they swam, and ever greater the waves rose, until finally a great tidal wave crashed along the shore and swept her father's igloo, with her father and dog inside, into the waves under the sea to join her. Since that time, the Inuit people hunt the seal, the walrus, and the whale. But it is hard. And very many times they fail. So they worship Sedna. The medicine men sing songs of dreams, and in their spirit journeys they travel under the waters, and they comb Sedna's long hair. She cannot comb it herself. She has no fingers. And if they comb it well, perhaps she will release a whale, or a walrus, or a seal to be caught. And with that animal they make skins for their clothes and to warm the insides of their igloos. And from the oil, the blubber of those creatures, they burn candles and make warmth. And from the meat, they sustain themselves.